Make sure to be a member on the channel, link is in the description. Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. So yeah, let's thank our members as always. Diaf, Chalares, Astropub, Silami, and thank you all the Fishbed members. It helps a lot, you know. It do helps a lot, so make sure to subscribe, join our Discord, and also join being a member if you want to help a little bit more. So today we're going to talk about some stuff the Gaijin actually needs to add to actually be ready to a 4th gen all-out war, you know. So I think these are minor things and some other big things that we need to make sure that the game actually is prepared to have these types of things. It is a matter of just being realistic, to be honest, and some stuff a lot of people will agree with, and some stuff a lot of people will probably disagree with as well, but I don't care. I still think that it needs to be in this way in the game. So we're going to talk about basically 3 things. The first one, they're minor things, but yeah. The first one, I think it's the main one that we really need. It's a proper RWR. So the RWR in the game right now, it's not the best. You know, it only tells you where a lock is coming from and when you are being locked. So it's not a very effective RWR. And I think it's alright for now because the missiles are not... I mean, we are using 70s missiles still, so we are not quite there yet of having properly very good uh, good missiles, you know, and good raiders and stuff like that, which means that it's very easy to defeat missiles and stuff like that. But a missile like a Phoenix, for example, can be very effective because of that as well. Missiles like the R-24 can be very effective because you don't see the smoke coming at you. So it is just a matter of being realistic, to be honest. Not all aircraft, you have to understand that earlier aircrafts like I don't even think that we have this type of RWRs yet, but aircraft like the MiG-19 and the MiG-21 F-13, for example, had some RWRs. If somebody was behind you, locking you up, only behind you. And there are some other systems like the Sabre system or the P-51, I think even had that. That it had a radar, kind of a radar rangefinder tilted backwards, you know, pointed backwards. And when somebody is behind you, you would tell the pilot. So yeah, but then we have more advanced stuff, which is what we have now, which is basically the 60s RWRs, you know, stuff like just having a general direction where the pings are being locked and stuff like that, and no launch, nothing. It's just a lock information, you know, and ping information of radar pings. And then when you go to the late 70s, early 80s, you start to see a lot of aircraft with more advanced systems, such as the Berioza, for example, which is a very good example. But the Americans and the French also have that. But like the Berioza that tells you what type of um, threat is locking you up, where he's locking you up from, if he's a primary target or a secondary one, if he's a primary threat, I mean, if the missile has been launched, and the distance of the missile. So all these things become a little bit more needed when you are facing the more advanced missiles. To be honest, right now we don't need that much, but once we get R-27s, AIM-7Ms, and in the future AIM-120s, R-77s, the more we go into the future, the better the missiles are going to be, and we will need to have this type of information, you know, until like in the 90s, for example, that the Russians had, I mean the Americans in the 80s had, for example, even the type of target that was locking you up, not even the type of target, but the aircraft itself. So for example, if a MiG-29 lock on a F-15, the F-15 would say that it's a MiG-29, so it helps in situational awareness as well. And as I said, the Russians had the distance calculator for the missile as well, because of the reflection. I really don't know how they calculate that, but still, they had it with the Berioza. The MiG-23 MLD, for example, and the MiG-27K would be probably the first aircraft to use that, together with the MLA as well. There are some, the F-14 for example would have similar systems, and the Kai for example would have even more modern systems because it's a laser aircraft. So it's many aircraft that have this system, and obviously it kind of balances it out. I mean, if you think that it's going to be OP in certain way, it's not going to be OP because the missiles are going to evolve it as well. So you are going to get even better missiles with a better RWR, you know. Another thing that obviously even in the 90s, if you get 90s onwards aircraft, the Russians, as I said, I'm going to say, or as I said on the video on the Su-27, the Su-27M was the first aircraft in the world to have a rear radar integrated with the RWR, which means that it could actually detect IR missiles coming from behind you to increase the situational awareness of the aircraft. All these systems need to be integrated, I think, in War Thunder, because the more we go into the future, the more missiles are going to be more effective and more modern, and we need to know how to defend them against them, you know. In these manners, they actually can put the proper technology on the missiles. For example, the MatAWG doesn't have the IR CCM that he had in real life. R-73s, AIM-9Ms, all these things, obviously the Fox 3 missiles, all these missiles are evolving, and we need you know, defense systems to actually evolve it as well. So the RWR is the first thing that we need a rework on the game, you know, it's really needed. Another thing that I think we should get it is basically a thing that everybody asks, but and they are improving it, but I think we need a more aggressive approach to it. For at least for top tier, or only for top tier, we need bigger maps. You know, a lot of people complain about this, and they are changing and putting more bigger maps. But I'm not saying EC maps, but we really need bigger maps. I mean, the more we go into the future, the longer the ranges are of the missiles are going to be, and everything is going to be more and more and more, you know. So we need that. I think we should really get that, you know. It's a thing that, I mean, the missions should be a little bit different as well. I think we should have kind of like a normal quick match, but a little bit bigger, maybe twice as much bigger than it is right now. And then we still have more EC maps as well for a more longer match and stuff like that, with more objectives and different ways to play. I think Gaijin praises a lot on the short battles, you know, but I think in actual modern combat you will need these types of bigger maps, just because it's a thing that, I mean, it basically means that it will be the same time of battle as a prop match, to be honest, because the prop matches will already take a lot longer than the jet matches, especially when you have top tier fighting in the same maps that props does, you know, do. So we need the same type of battle, you know, time of battle, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, stuff like that. I think it's a good time. Not for, maybe not for the majority, but for a lot more than it is right now. And the EC maps are amazing at that. Maybe they could add a feature of a ground control or an AUX if there is only one player and he's running away or something, you know. There are some features like this, for example, the blind hunt, and after a while the square on the map starts to get red, so it helps a lot to find the last guy always. But you know, I really think that people that complain about these C maps don't get the big picture, you know, that even though I know for like MiG-19s and stuff like that, it is complicated, and 10.0 and WR, it's complicated to fly, and it can be a little bit boring maybe. Not for me, but some people complain about it. But in top tier, we need the bigger maps to be realistic and more fun. You know, it's way more fun to fly on that. Even though I know a lot of people complain that a J7, for example, or a MiG-21 cannot fly correctly in those matches, but it is a real life problem. You know, you have to fly low with those aircraft and get people by surprise, because there's a lot of, you know, BVR stuff happening up above, and yeah, it's just basically that. Another thing, the last thing that I want to talk about very quickly is more missions and more weaponry. So we are in the imminence of getting stuff like the Tornado or maybe Su-24s, Su-25s, the A-10 obviously. A lot of these attack aircraft, and we are going to get, the more we go into the future, the more modern stuff we are going to get. And I think together with the C maps or the bigger maps in general, we need more strategic, not strategic, but more designed objectives in the maps, you know, for air to ground. To, I mean, maybe you can limit the amount of air to ground aircraft, you know, so that the maps, so that the teams they don't die instantly because one team has many fighters and the other one has many attackers and bombers and stuff. But what am I saying? I'm saying about anti-runway ammunition, cluster ammunition, anti-ship, seed, stuff like that, you know. I think in the modern combat arena, you will see a lot of these missions, and in War Thunder we don't see any of these missions beyond basically bombing, and maybe if you want to do CAS, destroying some ground targets, and it's fighting, you know, just fighting. There is interception with the AI and stuff, so it's the same idea behind the AI, but with air to ground, you know, more stuff like that. And I'm not saying just tanks and stuff. I'm saying that maybe you can add seed aircraft. Obviously, there are many aircraft already in the game that could carry seed weapons, so anti radiation missiles, anti AA systems, you know. And you could maybe do a mission. Maybe there is a part of the map that is covered by AA, you know, by very good AA, like missile AA from very long range, 30 to 40 kilometers maybe, and you need to destroy that, or something like that, or at least some triple AA that, like the Shuka and stuff like that, that can actually destroy some targets and stuff, and you need the seed missiles to actually destroy it. The anti-ship could be a thing as well. I mean, we need the carriers on at least some maps in EC maps, you know. So put more maps in the EC rotation and add carriers, man. They put the carriers for nothing. I mean, put the carriers on, you know. And yeah, then you can add anti-ship missiles and stuff like that with the Tornado, for example. They could use it, and you have to destroy the carrier, and it's objective, you know. Maybe if you complete this objective, it's not something that will affect too much into the battle, to not make it so that it's completely easy to just spawning 6 tornadoes and destroy all the ships and get a win, you know. Just like a big 29 and a 2-4 back in the day when you could destroy the airfield. So maybe it is a reward just for money and RP, you know, if you destroy all the ships, or if you destroy the capital ship, which is the carrier, you get a lot of points. I don't know, a bonus of 5,000 RP, you know, or even more. I don't know, something like that, you know. If you destroy all the AA systems, you gain a point like that. If you destroy the runway in certain area, you can, you know, get a lot more points. This would make it so that it is viable to have many types of missions that you can do. And for example, me, I like very much the idea of seed and anti-ship. So for me personally, I would enjoy very much to do seed or anti-ship with a Tornado, for example, or a Su-24 or anything like that. And maybe the other guy wants to fly a fighter. All right, it's fine. Maybe the other guy wants to do other things, you know. They can balance it out with the running, stuff like that, hiding, with the AWACS that I said before, or the already implemented stuff, you know, making it a more rich environment, you know. I think PvE can be a very good tool to actually make the game a little bit more fun. It doesn't mean that you will change the fact that the PvP is the main thing, and the death matches obviously would be the main thing, but still, it is a very cool idea in my opinion. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about that. And the last thing, many weak, what's it called? A leak list are being deployed in the forums, but I just wanted to show this one, for example, of the J8B, Kafir C7, Tornado F2, I think this is completely fake because a Tornado F2, man, you know that the Tornado F2 didn't even have a radar. You know, it's very limited, basically a prototype actually. It can only carry two A9s. So if only if the Gaijin doesn't want the UK to have BVR with the Tornado, the F2 would be the variant. It doesn't make any sense. It has to be the F3 for Italy and for the UK. They asked for Germany, only for Germany. I mean, doesn't make much sense these leak lists, you know. So don't fall on these things, you know. Seriously, it's kind of weird. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and make sure to subscribe, join our Discord, and I see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.